Hey everyone, it's that guy over there bringing you the first game of the Sunflower GT. It's Lizardmen versus Lizardmen. Playing a gentleman named Ro Navarez. Him and his twin brother are actually the ones who are running the Wicked GT that's going to be coming up here in a few weeks. And I encourage you all to go to that if you are available over in Wichita, Kansas. It promises to be a great event. But for as far as the turn numbers go, I'm going to be going R and B because Rolando been. So here I'm going to show you a picture of what the table looked like. I showed up a few minutes early, so yeah, that's how it's going to be. Here's his army. So I want to say he got second best overall because of, I mean, obviously his paint contributed a lot to that because he's got just a beautiful army. We got some pictures close up. See, he's got really what his list comprises of is two Carnosaur characters. One's the general, one's the BSB. That's the BSB right there. An ethereal slan. The characters on foot are just in case the Carnosaurs die. He's got that ancient stegodon in the background. He's got 2 units of saurus and a unit of rippers and a unit of chameleon skinks. So show you that last little bit. Oh, he's got a bastillodon. No. Yeah, he's got a bastillodon in there too. Here's deployment. I've covered my list already. I've yet to scout those 2 chameleon skink units, and the ripper toad markers are going to go down too. But I tried to put my rippers in the middle and then kind of build out from there because the rippers are so maneuverable and they vanguard, so I can move them to where I need them to be. From left to right, here's his deployment. The chameleon skinks have yet to be placed. But you can see there's his BSB. On the right is his ethereal slan and general. You know what? I'm not actually sure. I can't remember which one's the BSB, which one's the general. This one might be the BSB here though, because he's got a little banner thing behind him. Yep. So there's that. Another picture of the table of my left flank, my right flank. Basically, I'm just setting up to. Really, I just want to section off one of his blocks there, whittle it down, and then see how many of these other support units I can pull down. I really don't think I'm going to be able to get both blocks, but I think I can get one, and then we'll see how many monsters I can get. So here is his chameleon skinks, basically vanguard blocking so that his rippers can go where they need to go. Here's just a picture of his beautiful army behind a fence. And yeah, here's where my chameleon skinks end up plopping down. And I push up, vanguarding forward. I doubt I'm going to get the first turn, so I go ahead and face to the rear. The pterodons are there to double flee in the event something wants to chase at my or run at my razordons. So, yep. Okay. So he pushes forward, just trying to hold the line with all of his units. Here, he pushes around on my left flank with his ripperdactyls, just trying to get around behind my lines. That's really where you need your rippers to be, is to get back past the main lines, blow past them, so that they can engage what targets they want, not worry about getting charged. This chameleon skinks kind of push forward a little. Here's his, I'm going to call that one his general, coming around the left side here. Pushing up to meet up with the rest of his units. And remember, that guy's ethereal, and here I thought he'd made a mistake here because both my skink characters one has the Egg of Quango and one has a magic weapon, and because he's ethereal, only magical attacks hurt him. So I was thinking I was gonna get this land here right away. We'll see how that plays out, but that's why I took a picture of this. And you'll see me do this a couple times. When I turn I'm using a new phone camera, so whenever I turn it sideways, it's got kind of a wonky. It's a high quality camera, but because of that, it kind of skews the picture here. So there aren't too many of these throughout the report, but I'm just showing the slan in the charge I'm about to make. So here's my first turn. I charge in, make it into contact with the Slan, and I'm thinking that this is pretty good. I don't see how I can't blow past him. So and again, we'll see how that turns out to be. My Ripperdactyls and Chameleon Skinks. I think that one group of Chameleon Skinks had deployed way back where all the books are now. So they move forward. I move the Rippers around, and again, I'm just trying to get past his front line, so that way I can start charging things in their flank and the rear, and causing some mayhem that way. So I have a special objective this game where I have to get a unit with fortitude in my opponent's deployment zone. So that's, you see the little skink unit on the right. They're just gonna, run down the field and spike their flag in my opponent's deployment zone. So I can get that extra battle point. And here's my left side. The Croxagores, I haven't really quite figured out how to use them yet, but I've moved them in such a way that I may get charged by the Rippers. That'll be good. The Chameleon Skinks will have a hard time squeezing around in there, but the Carnosaur cannot charge them because I'm behind the Skinks. Chameleon Skinks moving up there. During shooting, I must have lost one that first turn. That's why I only have 4 when the Chameleon Skink shot at me. But other than that, I haven't really had a lot of damage yet. So my Slans there. The Razor Dons are positioning to shoot up those Ripperdactyls. And yeah, it's just as you see it. So a little bit closer up. I must have lost some. I think the ancient Stegodon with the blowpipes took out some of those skinks there. But again, I'm just trying to kind of muck up his lines a little bit. There's a wound on the Carnosaur, or on the Carnosaur character too. So we're here at Rose turn 1 or turn 2. He's got a pretty easy automatic charge into the flank here because I do not blow past him like I thought I would, which is tragic because I'll probably lose both those characters now. But yeah, the Agaquango didn't go off, and then I really didn't do any wounds to him, so we just stuck. Maybe I got 1 wound on him or something, but he probably made his 4+ wards. The rest of his units move up just a little bit because they don't want to get too far ahead of the unit that charged into my Pterodon characters. As you can see in my shooting, I took down a Ripperdactyl with the Razordons, and that little 1 dice means I ate one of my handlers. There was a couple games where it was close. I really thought that they were going to eat all their handlers with so many misfires. But anyway, I'm just down 1 right now. Here we can see the turn markers catching up. So the Skinks move around. My Croxagores, the Ripperdactyls fly forward. They must make their check because the general's right there. He's going to move around here. He ends up not charging because he knows I'll just flee from him. His other Carnosaur character in the Bastiladon turned to face all my Rippers and my Chameleon Skinks. And this is kind of what the board looks like. You can see the Stegodon trundles over that fence to start lighting up my characters. The Ripperdactyls are really trying to go for my Slan character there. They're going to try to kill and blow him. So I reform my Skinks with the Croxagore around so that they can shoot at them. Or I have done that. No, that's what happened. They fled from the saurus unit, and the saurus unit, I don't think they redirected it. So they just trundled forward a little bit. But that Croxagore unit is fleeing with my BSB embedded. Yep, that's all I have to say about that. All right, so my turn 2. I rally the fleeing Croxagore unit. I turn everything to face the Ripperdactyls. And You can see the croc scores reform, so now they're facing the flank. They've taken a wound from the, or maybe 2 wounds from the chameleon skinks. I envelop his stegodon there, and I'm really have surrounded and gotten out of the charge arcs with all of my riprodactyls, as you can see, because now they've killed both of those pterodon riders, because they've killed one pterodon rider. The other one got away, and he rallied. I really like that they can rally and move to wherever they need to go. So he's standing there just so that they'll have a hard time reforming. Yeah, that's called the faint flight rule, that they rally and then they can move their full move as normal. I sneak up my skink priest. He's now within 12 inches of the slam mage priest. I'm not mentioning magic because really not a lot's happened with magic, but now I have spirit leech because I traded into that once I can't remember which spell I dropped, but I have spirit leech and soul quench, and my thinking is I can go through that priest there and hopefully pick off that slan, because I think he's got 2 wounds on him. I think that's what those 2 little red marks are from that teardown combat. So the rest of the rippers are getting angles to basically charge every flank inside of this saurus unit and see if I can't pick it off. I forgot to move my skinks with the banner, so 1 more turn delay, and then the chameleon skinks move around behind that hill so that they won't be charged by the Carnosaur character or be seen by the Bastillodon. So again, ugly sideways picture. But, oh, okay, the reason why I took this one is my plan works between Spirit Leech and the Soul Quench. I'm able to kill off the Slan Mage Priest, which is a pretty serious blow. I don't think he was as expensive as mine. He wasn't the General or the BSB, but still, that means the Magic phase is pretty much mine at this point. And that's kind of the hard part with the Ethereal Slan, is that you can't join a unit. So, I almost might recommend, putting a Magic Resistance 2 talisman on him, so that way he can have 2+ ward save against these kinds of magic missiles. So then he's pretty much invincible unless you kill him with the unstable rule. So yeah, that happened. So shooting, I'm able to kill off the Riprodactyls. As you can see, I've got 7 downed handlers because I'm just eating myself there. But, at least my slan's safe for a turn. I'm just taking pictures of the board. I don't really do a whole lot to that Stegodon, to be honest. And blurry picture, but I'm not really doing a lot with my shooting so far this game. So I've skipped the turn here, obviously. So the chameleon skinks really light up my Razordons, kill off 2 of them. So now I'm down 9 handlers and 2 Razordons. Fortunately, they stick. The Carnosaur had failed a charge, so I was able to get in behind him with the Crocscore unit. If I can survive the Carnosaur's attacks, I think I'll be okay, because I know he gets D3 wounds or whatever when he bites you. But the Crocscore's in the rear. That would be really great if I could take down the General. The Stegodon, and something I'd always found with my Stegodons, is when they charge in, if you don't roll very high for impact hits or thunder stomps, they really don't do a whole lot. And he killed 4 of my skinks, and they were able to stick with my General's leadership and the BSB nearby, which is really depressing. I mean, I really want Stegodons to be much harder than they are. They should at least get D6+1 impact hits or something, but or even 2d6, pick the highest or something like that. But yeah, that was sad. Now, though, I'm concerned he's going to win and then charge into my General, which is definitely a possibility, because if he breaks him, he can just reform and then charge on his turn, and then my guy's going to be sunk. Because I think this one has sharpened horns too. So I didn't really see that at the time, that could happen, or else I'd move that slaying because I don't think he's joined the unit. I move a unit of skinks up to chaff up this unit of saurus. But then the big thing is I've charged. I think the unit on the right failed their charge, but I get a unit in the flanking unit in the rear with the Ripperdactyls, and I charge in with the Pterodon character in the front just because he has a 2+ armor save. I think he can stick around for a while. And then that skink character, I wanted him to be nearby so that the slang could channel through him, and he can't get hit yet right where he's at right now with the Carnosaur. Can't wheel around the unit, so even though he looks like he's in huge trouble, he's actually not. He's pretty safe. So, and then the rest are just lining up to fire on his monsters. There goes that unit with the banner. There's some like demon harpy looking things on the other side of the table. Yeah, so combat the Croxagores. I lose a Croxagore between all the attacks of the Saurus character and the Carnosaur, and I'm not sure what the math is on that, but that's essentially because I took some wounds there from the chameleon skinks. So it's like saying he did 2 wounds. I think the 2 dice next to it meant 2 wounds came off that guy. But obviously I killed the Carnosaur. I think I did a couple wounds to him, and a rank, a rear. So I win by a lot, but he sticks and turns to reform. Yep. So there's that. And again, without the impact hits, he kills off, 4 last time, so he kills 6 of them. And I think the skinks actually managed to do a wound to the Stegodon. You see the wound marker. They're down to 1 and they stick again. And that's just it's really terrible. Stegodon should definitely have just blasted through those guys, but they didn't. And my one, the bravest, it was the skink who lived. He managed to hold the Stegodon up for another turn. Sorry for these crazy pictures. So I'd move the skink unit into the building. So this is him charging with the Carnosaur. There's a wound marker there. I don't know if I got a wound on him last time or if I got some wounds with the stand and shoot. You can see in this picture that he managed to kill the Pterodon in the last turn. And you can see how much damage I did. I mean, that was like half the unit that the Ripperdactyls took out, and I lost 1 character there, 1 little Ripper there, plus the skink priest. So pretty good. He's got the Bastillodon charging me in the side here, but really my plan is to do kill another 13 guys or however many guys it is, and just make that Bastillodon run away through combat res, because I don't think he's going to do that much to me. They're only strength 4, which is, again, it's like the weakest monster. I mean, I love my Bastillodons, but strength 4. Ugh. So I think he charges here into the skink unit there. Chameleon skinks are just running around, shooting at guys here. Yep, so he gets pushed back. You can see the Carnosaur has a lot of wounds on him. Those are 4 wounds there, and I think they have 5 in total. So that's bad. Combat, he reforms during his movement phase, I guess. And because you can do that, you can reform in your movement phase from a combat last turn. So he faces me, and I kill another couple ranks off. The Bastillodon is fleeing there. The Saurus charge those skinks, and you see at the bottom of the picture they flee after combat. So I can't tell how many are there right now, but the fact that that huge Brachiosaurus charged 10 skink skirmishers and didn't actually kill them all and allowed them to break and run. I mean, I remember that. I think I remember that one where he rolled all the dice and he didn't get any 6s, and it was like 5 hits or something, and then that was like 5 dead skinks. But still, he probably has 12 plus 18 attacks and hitting on threes, and yeah, he only managed to kill 5 of them, which is really bad. So I think my opponent here is getting some pretty bad rolls, because even in that combat above, you see he did 1 wound to the Ripterdactyl, so it's rough. The Stegodon manages to kill the last little skink there. And we're trying to play fast here. The bottom of my turn, you can see I killed off that Carnosaur, killed off the rest of the Saurus unit. Turn all my guys to face. They're gonna all charge into the other unit of Saurus, and I don't have a picture of this, but on the other side, my Crocscore kills off his general, and at that point, we just decided to call it. So, we kind of talked about the differences in our list, how he'd kind of gone for the monsters and Saurus, and I didn't have any monsters or any Saurus in my list, so we kind of talked about the pros and cons. I think against a combat-y list, if I can't keep him off me long enough, like let's say Warriors of Chaos with a bunch of monsters and stuff, I think that he would do better against a list like that, because he's got the big blocks and the monsters that can cleave through those, like heavy cavalry and the monstrous cavalry, a lot better than me. But if I'm able to hold him off, then maybe I could pick away at him. So, but regardless, we both agreed that this was a pretty rough matchup for that particular list, because it was just really hard to pin me down and get any points off me, because I was running away from a lot of charges. I was staying out of charge arcs with a lot of my units, and was picking the combats that I wanted to fight. So, anyway, I mean, he's a great player, great opponent to play against, and again, just had a beautiful army. So I'd gladly play this guy again, for sure. And I would love to go to the Wicked GT and see them again, but I don't know if that's in the cards for me this year. So, 7-1 win to the Lizardmen. Like I said, Rowe went on to be, I think he was second best overall. I was looking at the score sheet at the end, which, again, he must have gone on to do well in his other games, and his paint score was pretty high. And obviously he got good sports too. So, anyway, congrats to him. Obviously, we won't be playing again. And we kind of laughed because we're the only 2 Lizardmen players at the tournament. We got paired up first round, and there were so many like mirror matches that we thought that was like an intentional thing, but the tournament organizer swore that he didn't put us together intentionally. So anyway, at least we won't be playing other Lizardmen in the future. So so some thoughts I had about the list is the channeling to the Skink Priest. That was like that was probably the best reason to bring a Skink Priest. I know carrying the spell scroll was important. As you saw, Magic really didn't do a whole lot that game, other than I did boost the Razordons a few times with Hands of Glory, but the one time it mattered was when I was able to death snipe off his Slan, and that was going to the Skink Priest. So that's definitely value added, and that's why he brings Skink Priest, plus to carry a Dispel Scroll, which I can't even remember if I used that this game. The Ripterdactyls, if you go before, like for instance, Source Warriors, that's like the perfect people to fight against, because you're hitting on 4s with a reroll, you're wounding on 4s, and then they're just killing guys. So, and getting them all wrapped around a unit like that is just so key. If you can have 9 Rippers get in at a time, yeah, it's nuts how many guys die. And surprisingly, they were able to stand up to it. Now, my opponent wasn't rolling super well with his combat, but they are. I mean, they do have a 4+ save, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. They only have T3 and 5+ against strength 4 attacks, so I think I got real lucky there. But they were able to wipe out that unit. and keep on going. And then the Croxagores, I was really kind of surprised when I charged them in the flank there. I was hoping that I would not just die to the Carnosaur and then he would charge, or even hold one turn and then him kill me on his turn so he could charge me again. And the Croxagores were really able to put the Carnosaur down. So it's going to be a recurring theme throughout the tournament is those 4 Croxagores. I mean, that must be like the perfect size for your Croxagore unit. I mean, you could add a couple more to it, but then you start getting kind of expensive. I mean, for 200 points. I almost put a champion with them because a Croxagore champion can actually take out maybe not super fighty characters, but they can take out a lot hero level characters, and you get the underdog challenge points. But I'm glad I didn't, because then he would just challenge out my champion every time. I think every game this game when they got into combat, it would just be challenged. So 4 Croxagores seems to be the magic number. So anyway, that's all I have. If there's any questions, comments, please subscribe, post them below, and I'll get back to you when I can. All right, thank you for your time.